Welcome to the Dinosaur Review for Kids podcast, a show all about reviewing dinosaurs on a scale of 1 to 10 fossils before only the elite terrible lizards make it into the prehistoric cage match. This program is presented by the Stomp Chomp Roar Company and can be heard within all the rock layers across the planet. Grab your dinosaurs and your official scorecard because it's now time to dig for dinosaurs. Here's your Mesozoic host, Dinosaur Ranger Anthony.
Hey, Junior Paleontologist! Do you know Dasher and Dancer and Prancer and Vixen? What about Comet and Cupid and Donner and Blitzen? But do you recall the most famous prehistoric reindeer of all? It's Nyctosaurus, the odd antlered pterosaur. That's right, today we're talking about a flying prehistoric reptile with deer-like antlers. Can you believe that? A real reindeer of the Mesozoic era. And all it needs is its red nose. But nonetheless, you guys, welcome back to the Dinosaur Review for Kids podcast. This is your Ranger Elf, Anthony, and I'll be your host as we prepare all of our prehistoric reindeer for Christmas Eve night. I just can't wait for Christmas Eve. It's probably my most favorite day of the entire year. All the decorations, the Christmas music, the food, the family, and the gifts. It just doesn't get any better than that. And always remember, the magic of Christmas lies deep in your heart. But before we make our way to the Cretaceous reindeer stables for today's episode, let's update you guys on a little bit of dinopreneur news. Well, everybody, the holiday gifts are still available from the Stomp Chomp Roar Company. Dig kits, slime kits, salt dough kits. Oh my! That's right, we have dig kits filled with rocks, colorful shells, and even a dinosaur fossil inside. Each kit comes with a hammer, a brush, a special note from me, and each of them was handmade here at Stomp Chomp Roar headquarters in my garage. I made them myself, Dinosaur Ranger Anthony. Now also, you guys, 2 kits are filled with shells from my anniversary trip back in Jamaica when me and my wife went back in June. Now the 2 kids that find these dig kits with the Jamaica shells, they will win a private virtual meet and greet with no one other than Ranger Elf Anthony. Well, you guys, I'm also selling my sand slime kits. That's right, you can make your own dinosaur sand slime. All the ingredients are included. The water, the glue, the sand, the starch, some awesome mix-ins, rocks, colorful shells, and even a dinosaur that you get to play with your slime. I also have salt dough fossil kits where you can make your own salt dough and turn it into a fossil. So you mix together the salt, the flour, the water, you can put in some cool rocks and colorful shells, and even stamp the dinosaur fossil that is included. You can stamp the dinosaur into it, and it makes your very own fossil. You allow about 24 to 48 hours for your salt dough to completely dry, and then you can maybe hang it on the Christmas tree, or even put it on maybe a bedside table for that ultimate junior paleontologist. Now, for more information about all these products, you can go ahead and visit my website at stompchomproar.com/store. Now, for everybody in the Omaha, Nebraska area, this Saturday, December 17th from 6 to 8 p.m., I'll be doing my Christmas lights drive-by event. Just like I did last year, you guys, I'll be going outside. Me, Santa Claus Paleo, will be out there in the cold temperatures, waving at all the kiddos as they go by, or maybe roaring at all the kids, and we'll also be handing out candy canes. So again, this Saturday, December 17th from 6 to 8 p.m., you can go onto my Facebook page. Just look Stomp Chomp Roar on Facebook. You'll find the address. You'll be able to come drive by the Stomp Chomp Roar headquarters and see all my dinosaur Christmas inflatables, the house decorated. I'll even hang some lights on my Jurassic Jeep and hand out some awesome candy canes. It's going to be so much fun. So go ahead and stomp on by if you live in the Omaha area. Now, you guys, a few shout outs before today's review. Shout out to the Durham Museum, you guys. Last Tuesday, birthday, I went and I was invited as part of their society members night. So this was for all the donors that like to donate to the museum. I went and entertained all the families, all about dinosaurs, prehistoric life. You guys, the night was so magical. I cannot say enough good things about it. I set up, I had 2 tables. One had my fossils on it. The other one, I set up a Christmas village, the Christmas village that my family have here at my house. I took it to the museum, and then I put dinosaurs in it. So it was like dinosaurs were walking around Jurassic World or Christmas World. I had my Mount Chompant volcano front and center. I had the train museum, all the different little buildings. It was tons of fun. And then at the end of the event, you guys, Santa came out. They did a countdown next to their gigantic Christmas tree that fills up almost all the way to the ceiling of the train station, and snow started coming from the ceiling, you guys. It was just so magical. Now, also a shout out to Triton. I hope he had a happy birthday yesterday. We went and visited his birthday party. We did our dinosaur hatchling adventure for all those kiddos out there. It was tons of fun, an awesome setup. They had me out in their shop in the backyard. It was tons of fun. Everybody had a great time talking all about dinosaurs, learning so much about prehistoric life, feeding paleo, and even digging up for a few dinosaur fossils. Also, a happy birthday to Cash. Right after we left Triton's birthday party, we went to Cash's birthday party, and we did our Santa Claus workshop package. This was the first time we have done this package, and it includes a lot of what the Stomp and Greet and the Hatchling Adventure includes, but it also was our salt dough fossil ornament making. So after we learned about dinosaurs, we fed paleo, we exploded Mount Chompant, and then we each of us, all 9 of us, made our very own Christmas dinosaur ornaments out of our salt dough. It was tons of fun. You guys, I just had a perfect Saturday. And then after my birthday parties, I came home, my family and I, we decorated Christmas cookies. And of course, you wouldn't expect nothing less, but I decorated my cookies into dinosaurs, Christmas dinosaurs. They looked fantastic, and if you want to see a picture of those, you can go to my Facebook page, and you'll be able to see those Christmas dinosaur cookies I decorated. Now, let's grab our reindeer food and head to the stables to review the next prehistoric genus. Now, this creature might not be a real dinosaur, but it has some strange reindeer-like antlers. Now, quick, let's start our review before Santa loads his sleigh for Christmas Eve. Here we go, all my junior elves. I mean my junior paleontologists, right? I just pulled up my official scorecard for the Dinosaur Review for Kids podcast, and it is time to review our next genus. Now, this one is the Nyctosaurus. The Nyctosaurus, which fits perfectly for this reindeer-like podcast. The Nyctosaurus, its name means the night lizard. The night lizard. That works perfect because we all know the reindeer are helping pull Santa's sleigh all throughout the night. Rudolph, or Nyctosaurus, is at the front with its red nose guiding the sleigh. So our Nyctosaurus means the night lizard. And it also sounds Old Saint Nick, kind of like Santa Claus is Saint Nicholas, and this one is Nyctosaurus. So the Nyctosaurus is our genus we're reviewing today. Now, what type of prehistoric creature is this? It's technically not a real dinosaur, but it did live with the dinosaurs, and it was kind of like a pteranodon. So our Nyctosaurus is a type of pterosaur. Those are the prehistoric flying reptiles. And then it's a pterodactyloid, and those are the winged fingered pterosaurs. Now, these ones fit in the Jurassic and the Cretaceous periods. These pterosaurs, or pterodactyloids, have shorter tails, toothless jaws, a head crest, and they have that elongated 4th finger out there at the end of their wing. Again, they're pterosaurs and then pterodactyloids. So our Nyctosaurus, how big was this prehistoric creature? How long? How high? What was the wingspan of our Nyctosaurus? So this one, you guys, is very similar to a pteranodon. The famous pteranodon, just just like I have sitting here in the Science Lab studios. So our Nyctosaurus is up to 6.5 or 2 meter wingspan. When they got their wings out there flapping out throughout the sky, their wingspan is 6.5 feet or 2 meters. Now they're only about 14 inches or 37 centimeters long, their body length. And then high, they're about 3 feet or 1 meter high when they're standing down there on the ground. And they only weigh about 20 pounds. So like I said, similar to a pteranodon for how they look, but their size is much smaller than the pteranodon. They're kind of compared to somewhat of a bald eagle that we might be seeing flying around again today. So again, up to 6.5 feet wingspan, 14 inches in length, 3 feet high or 20 pounds. Now, how fast was the Nyctosaurus? Could it really pull Santa's sleigh? Our Nyctosaurus is flying up to 21 miles per hour. Now, this is calculated by a few different things, by their weight, their wing area, and their flight power. So all of these, they can calculate their flight, how fast they would have been going, and they come in about 21 miles per hour when they're clocking them with their speed gun. The Nyctosaurus would have flapped their wings to fly a little bit to get them more off the ground, but then they're really going to be carrying those wind drifts, those wind currents up in the sky as they're floating over Pangea, over North America during the Cretaceous period. So they're very similar, like I mentioned, to our pteranodon, carrying those wind drifts up there in the sky. Now our Nyctosaurus, what weapons or defense, other characteristics did this pterosaur have? So like I mentioned before, they're very similar to a pteranodon. So in your head, picture a pteranodon. They have light-built hollow bones, making them very lightweight. They have a small body covered in some kind of fur or fuzz. Now this one, our Nyctosaurus, they don't have those 3-fingered claws in the middle of their wings. Their claws were going away, kind of like a T-Rex's arms were, they believe, getting smaller and smaller, and maybe they'd eventually disappear. The same with the claws of the Nyctosaurus. Those 3-fingered digits or claws on their wings were slowly going away. The claws were gone, and they just had little tiny little fingers that were probably, they were very useless. They wouldn't have been using them for anything, and they wouldn't have been able to like hang from cliffs or from trees. The claws wouldn't allow them to do that. So scientists believe they're spending the majority of their time up there in the skies floating around during the Mesozoic era. Now our Nyctosaurus has a very large brain, great eyesight for seeing all kinds of maybe prey down there at the ground level, fish that are in maybe the Western Interior Seaway. Now you guys, speaking of the Western Interior Seaway, the Nyctosaurus would have used their 12-inch or 1-foot skull with their toothless, long needle-sharp beak for swooping down towards the waters and hunting for all kinds of marine species, maybe creatures living across the coastline, and they would have been getting them with that sharp, long needle-like beak for doing all kinds of hunting because they're piscivores, eating all kinds of marine species. Now their wings, they have somewhat of a leathery membrane on their wings, helping them catch those wind drifts, being able to flap to get a little bit of flight power. Now they also, you guys, have that elongated 4th finger. So our pterosaurs, our pterodactyloids, one of their last finger goes the rest of the length of the wing. Now what makes this one different from, say, our pteranodon? We know the size is completely different, but something else that sets our Nyctosaurus away from our pteranodon is the head crest. We know the pteranodon has that one little head crest on top of its head. The Nyctosaurus has something even more bizarre. They have a long 15-inch head crest that looks somewhat like deer-like antlers, you guys. Deer antlers or reindeer antlers. So the antler is the shape of the letter U. So you can make that with your fingers, your index finger and your thumb. You stick them out out, that is the letter U. So that is what the head crest of the Nyctosaurus looked like. Both sides of the U was about 15 inches in length. And you guys, scientists believe as the Nyctosaurus got older and older, the head crest or those antlers would grow bigger and bigger. So the oldest Nyctosaurs would have gigantic head crests, getting up to about 15, maybe a little bit longer in length. And the smaller, the more young, the youth of the Nyctosaurs would have had smaller deer-like antlers. So totally cool. Now, what was this used for? What were those antlers used for? Some people originally thought maybe that L shape held some kind of a skin-like membrane or somewhat of a sail within that L, kind of like a sailboat. But more recently, you guys, scientists believe that that probably wasn't going to help them in their flight, and it actually might have hurt their flying rather than helping it. So they believe there was no kind of skin or membrane within that head crest, and it was more for just display, so they could tell each other apart, or maybe for mating, so they could attract a girlfriend, a mate to have babies with, and encourage the species, the genus, to live on and on and on. Now, you guys, I mentioned this one, they don't have those three-fingered claws, so they don't think they'd be hanging from cliffs or trees. Scientists believe they're spending the majority of their time flying. They're just staying up in the sky, riding those wind currents, you guys. So did they live in flocks? Would they have lived with a big group up there in the sky? Or would they have lived alone, just flying all around, occasionally fighting a mate to be able to have babies to increase the species, the genus? So I'm not sure if they would have had a flock of Nyctosaurs up there in the sky. Now, when did this dinosaur or pterosaur live, and how long did this genus live during the Mesozoic era? So our Nyctosaurus is coming in the fossil record about 89 to 66 million years ago during the late Cretaceous period. And it was found here in the Midwest, around where dinosaur ranger Anthony lives. And it was found in the Niobrara Formation. Now, our Nyctosaur would have been flying over what's called the Western Interior Seaway. So back during the Cretaceous period, an ocean or a seaway went straight through North America, right through the United States, all the way up from Canada down into Mexico, you guys. So the water just went straight through North America. And Nebraska, the great state of Nebraska, the Cornhusker state where I live, would have been covered in water, in shallow seas. We would have all kinds of creatures living throughout those waters. And our Nyctosaurs would have been flying over the Western Interior Seaway looking for all kinds of prey, all kinds of fish to eat, because our Nyctosaurus is a piscivore, which means they're eating marine-like species. Now, this species, this genus, was found and named back in 1876 by the famous Bone Wars paleontologist O.C. Marsh, and it was found down in the Smoky Hills River down in Kansas, the state right below Nebraska. Now, the Nyctosaurus was classified originally as a type of pteranodon, and up until 2003, they found some more fossils. They realized the head crest, those deer-like antlers of the head crest of our Nyctosaur, and a new genus was born. Our Nyctosaurs were created. So you guys, what is going to be our score on the official scale, the official fossil scale of the Dinosaur Review for Kids podcast? As always, 1 fossil for some of the weakest, 10 fossils for some of the strongest. So our Nyctosaur, we got to put it in with our other pterosaurs. What are we going to give it? It's not a pteranodon. It's not that big. It can't be a 6.9, but it's also a little bit bigger than, say, our Rhamphorhynchus, our Dimorphodon that we reviewed earlier this year. So you guys, at the end of the day, I'm going to give our Nyctosaurus a great score just for Christmas Eve, a great fossil score. We're going to give it a 3.4. 3.4 for our Nyctosaur. Now, it's not a 2.4 like Christmas Eve that's on the 24th. We'll give it a 3.4. So that is our Nyctosaur, all ready for the holiday season. It is ready to guide Santa's sleigh. A 3.4 for the almighty Nyctosaur. Now, how was everybody's visit inside of the prehistoric reindeer stables? Do you think the Nyctosaurus could lead Santa's sleigh? All it needed was a red nose. But scratch that. How about a red beak? That is just genius. What do you guys think about a red beak that flashed bright red and helped lead Santa's sleigh on Christmas Eve night? I wonder if the color just didn't fossilize during the fossilization process in the fossil record. We'll never know if it was actually red or not, but I think it would just be totally amazing if Nyctosaurus was leading Santa Claus's sleigh, and we'll never know for sure, but let's go ahead and all believe that it flashed bright red, perfect for Santa Claus. Now, this genus of pterosaur, or Nyctosaurus, was quite odd, but also amazing. But what did you guys think about that L-shaped reindeer-like antlers on its head? Did you know there was a prehistoric creature that lived with the dinosaurs that had antlers? They're totally amazing, and I totally love it on this pterosaur type creature. But what did you guys think about the score? Did I give a good score for this pterosaur? Will it end up on Santa's nice list? We don't want it to be on the naughty list, so our Nyctosaurus needs to make sure to stay on the good list for Santa Claus, and I sure hope so. But you guys, a joke before we go today. What is a dinosaur's least favorite reindeer? Which reindeer is a dinosaur's least favorite? This is an easy one. You guys have to know. What is a dinosaur's least favorite reindeer? How about Comet? Comet, it's like an asteroid, you guys. And dinosaurs always loved Christmas before Santa named one of those reindeers after an asteroid, because we all know an asteroid probably helped the dinosaurs go extinct 65 million years ago, and it's just too sad to talk about during the holiday season. Now, you guys, that's it for today, everyone. I need to go start doing my Christmas shopping before it's too late, and wish me luck because I'm going to shop till I drop. Now, you guys, make sure to send me all of your new dinosaur toys to me, Dinosaur Ranger Anthony, Omaha, Nebraska, 68144, here at the Stomp Chomp Roar headquarters. But of course, I'm just kidding, right? Or am I? My wife told me no more dinosaur toys down in the Science Lab studios. Well, you guys, also for next week's podcast, we will be visiting Santa Claus's workshop. That's right, it's going to be such an amazing podcast the week before Thanksgiving when we go up to the North Pole and visit a dinosaur genus that lives up in the North Pole at Santa Claus's workshop. But remember, my name is Ranger Elf Anthony, your reindeer trainer for today's podcast, and as always, keep digging for dinosaurs. But you guys, something a little extra. Let's listen to this one. Then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, Nyctosaurus, with your beak so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? Then how the junior paleontologists loved him as they shouted out with glee, Nyctosaurus, the odd-antlered pterosaur, you'll go down in fossil history. Ho, ho, ho! Happy holidays, everybody!